Hi, class. I have been getting a lot of questions this week from our assignment for Chapter 5. The question is in regards to calculating net pay using the percentage method of manual payroll systems with the forms W-4 from 2020 or later. So I'm going to walk you through how to calculate this. Let's read the question first. So it says, the following salaried employees of Mountain Stone Brewery in Fort Collins, Colorado, are paid semi-monthly. Some employees have union dues or garnishments deducted from their pay. You do not need to complete the number of hours. What's going to be required is calculate their net pay using the percentage method for manual payroll systems with forms W-4 from 2020 or later. All the documents that we're going to be pulling can be found in this Appendix C. I'm going to put them on the screen, but if you want to use them for any other questions, they are there. This is going to be to determine the federal income tax. We also need to assume that box 2 is not checked for any employee. So box 2, if you have to try to remember, box 2 is about any other income. Since it's not checked, anything that involves other income, we're just going to put 0 on. We also need to include Colorado income tax, and they're giving us that percentage right here of 4.55% of taxable pay. We also need to know that no employee has exceeded their maximum FICA limit, which means when we're calculating their percentages, we don't have to remove any. We're going to leave everything as a whole. So some of the things that we need to do is the gross earnings, the federal withholding. We need to take out Social Security tax, Medicare tax withholding, and state tax, also those union dues or garnishments. So some of the givens that we do know is Social Security tax. That percentage is 6.2%. Medicare tax is 1.45%. State tax, which was the given, was the 4.55%. Union dues for this individual is 0 and garnishments is 50. So our employee married joint, 0 dependents, $1,850 is his pay, 0 and $50. So the first thing that we're going to try to calculate, since we have the givens, we're going to kind of save those for last. What we're going to want to do first is go over this federal withholding. So we're going to open our book and we're going to go to the Appendix C on page 497. You're going to see that's where the percentage method tables for manual payroll systems with forms W-4, form 2020 or later is. That's the one that we're going to be wanting to work off of. It looks like this. Up here it says what we're doing. Manual payroll is the one that we're looking for. It's given in our description, right? Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is kind of go over this. We want to enter as much as we can because we're trying to determine the adjusted wage. We also need to know the tentative amount withholding. And this is going to help us to compute what we actually need to withhold based off that percentage that we're going to find in the appendix. So let's see. Let's try texting. It might go off lines, but I'll try my best to keep it together. Okay. So we do know that his wage is the $1,850. We do know since he is semi-monthly, he's going to have his pay periods are going to be 24. Then we're going to enter the amount from on step 4 of the W-4. So step 4 correlates with the box 2 about the other income. So if he has any other income, if there's any dependents, if there's any additional withholding, none of those were given in the scenario. So we're going to go with 0 dependents and no other additional income being collected. So for that one, we know it's going to be 0. Okay, let's go trying to shrink it. Okay. Oh no, it's got worse. Let's see. Okay, I can't. Okay, so what's the next one that we got? We need to divide line 1C by line 1B, 0, 24, 0. Add lines together, 1A and 1D. So that's going to be that 1,850. enter the amount on step 4 we've determined for him, it's 0. And then divide line 1F by 1B, 0. And finally, we're going to subtract line 1G, which is 0, from 1E. So 1,850 minus 0 is going to still give us that 1,850. So for him, we're going to use the 1,850 as his wage amount. So the next thing that we need to determine is what the tentative withholding is going to be. So this is where we're going to have to use our appendix again. Let me see if I can find the page so I can screenshot it. What we're looking for is the 2022 percentage method tables for manual systems. And we're going to make sure that it's the 2020 or later. And we need to make sure it's for semi-monthly, not monthly, not weekly. So we want to be very careful when we're looking for the right form that we're getting. Semi-monthly. Let's see. 50 dim. Here we go. So let's screenshot this. And I'm going to leave this here on top, but I'm going to put the other one on top of it just so that we can grab that number. So as you can see, we got the percentage method by semi-monthly payroll period. So this is the one that we're going to need to pull from. Okay, and the other one, let's get it. What we need is, this one is on page 482. And this one's going to be the wage bracket method. Let's see. No, this is wage bracket. Just kidding. We're not going to use that one. We need the manual. Okay. So on this one, we are going to use, he's married, filing joint, and his wage is between the 1,079 and 1,935. So we're going to use the 1,079 and 10% to calculate his tentative. So we are going to go here. Okay, just go enter and keep the same line for you guys. Okay, so we're going to use the 1,079. And the percent on that is 10%. On column C, so I put 0 right here because it's asking for column C. So if you look on that second line, it says column C is 0. So we're not going to put anything on there. So we just have the 1,079, the 0, and 10%. Then what we do is we're going to subtract out the 1H, the 1,850 minus the 1,079. And that dollar amount gives us the $771. I need to get it to line up for you guys. I apologize. It's not working with me. All right. Well, so on the 2D, That's going to be subtract the 2A from line 1H. Line 1H was the 1,850 minus the 1,079 gives us that difference. So then what we need to do for line 2E is we need to calculate that percentage, that 10% of $771. That percentage is going to give us the dollar amount for $77.10. Okay. So this dollar amount is going to be what we calculate for our tentative tax withholding. If we're going to do our account for tax, then what we do is we're going to enter the amount from step 3 on the employee's W-4. Step 3 is about dependents. So in this guy's case, he has 0 dependents. So the answer would be 0 for 3A. We have to put 0 for their pay period because there's no need to put it for this one. And then subtract line 3B from line 21. I'm sorry, 2F. Our 2F dollar amount was the $77.10. So $77.10 minus $0 still gives us the $77.10. And then again, we've determined that there is no additional withholding that they would like to add. So it will be 0. So $77.10 plus 0 gives us our withholdings for federal withholding to be $77.10. So I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to just move this over. Let me put 0 here because there's supposed to be a 0 in between. And that way you guys can have it on the side. It's to fill in your own document form. And then this one again is just how you're going to calculate all of your employees because it's going to be by semi-monthly. And then it's going to be divided into married, single, or head of household. And again, since we're doing the percentage method for manual processing, we want to make sure our heading is the one we have. Okay, so now we know that for this individual, his additional withholding, his federal withholding is $77.10. So now we know his gross, 1,008. Well, we've known his gross, 1,850. So now comes the fun part. Calculating. I'm going to delete this. If you need me to show you it, guys, again, just send me an email and I'll tell you which pages you can find all these on. But I just want to be able to show you your problem. All right, so we have our gross pay, which equals the, I'm just going to put the dollar amount so it all kind of lines up. So 1,850. We know his federal withholding is going to be a minus, right? So we're going to subtract out the $77.10. Okay. Then we know 6.2% of his gross earnings is going to be Social Security tax. So if I do my calculator math, because my brain math will not calculate that for me, unfortunately, it's going to come out to 1,850 times 0.062. That gave me $114.70. And then let's calculate the Medicare tax withholding. So again, 1,850. I'm going to multiply that by 0.145. I'm doing the percentage base. That gave me $26.80. It says 8.825. I'm going to round it to the 2 decimals because the note in red up there says 2 decimals. So I'm going to put 83. I'm going to calculate state tax withholding. So again, the 1,850 times 0.0455. That gave me 84.175. So I'm going to calculate that as 84.18. Union dues for this individual is $0, so I'm not going to subtract anything out. And then for his garnishment, he has $50 per pay period. Perfect. So I'll make all these red because we're subtracting them out. So now if I use my handy dandy calculator, I have 1850 subtract 77.10 minus 114.70 minus 26.3 minus 84.18 minus 50 gives me his net pay of 1,497.19. Ta-da! So that's how we're going to calculate his net pay. So those same forms that we pulled up, I don't know if you want to just go through the video again and take a look. Those are the forms that we're going to need for this particular one. Again, because we've determined several things on the readings, that they're paid semi-monthly, that it's going to be the percentage method for manual payroll systems with the forms W-4 from 2020 or later. And we're assuming that box 2 is not checked for any of these employees. We're given the Colorado tax rate and that no employee has exceeded the maximum FICA limits. So I hope that helped. If you guys still have any questions, please feel free to email me so that I can make sure you guys are getting the information that you need and you know how to find it. Okay.